Welcome to the tank.
This is BBL basketball.
You better know our name. We're the Sharks.
Down back with the one-handed hammer.
Let's go!
BBL on Sky Sports.
Yeah, it's Friday Night Basketball on Sky Sports, and we're live from Sheffield, where tonight two traditional powerhouses of the BBL square off as the Sharks host the Newcastle Eagles. Very good to have you with us. We're around 15 minutes or so away from tip-off, and joining me to help us all get set for the big game, Newcastle All-Star Drew Lasker and Sheffield legend Mike Tuck. Good to see you both. Two heavyweight teams, Drew, but it's been heavy sledding for both of them this season so far.
Yeah, slow start to our teams. I'm a little more surprised with Mike's Sharks, but ever since the loss of Royal Graham Bell, the Newcastle Eagles have been scrambling with their roster. So both teams coming off wins, so things are looking up for both teams.
So much flux in the BBL. So Sheffield looked like they had a real edge at the start of the season because they've got consistency and cohesion, a lot of returning faces. So are you surprised they've had a difficult start?
Yeah, it's a little surprising. They brought back 6 players from last season. Some of these guys on the team for 3-4 seasons now. But anytime you add some new players in, especially prominent players and ball dominant players into the mix, there's going to be growing pains, and that's what the Sheffield Sharks are going through at the moment.
And of course, no Mike Tuck for the Sharks this season as well. We can't discount that.
Yeah, we can't. This guy's a huge loss to this organization, so we can't gloss over that.
He's brought his kit with him, though, so we might see him on at some point. Given the amount of flux that we do have with BBL teams, is it easy to underestimate, Drew, just how difficult it is to get cohesion with a lot of new faces so early on in the season? You need a bit of patience.
Yeah, and one thing that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks is, remember, the construct of the league has changed. Over the last few years, the team has used the cup competition as a preseason to figure out these rosters, but now you got to get it right from the jump. And as you can see, there's a couple teams struggling to figure out their identity.
And we are living in a what have you done for me lately generation, right? Well, as far as the Sharks and the Eagles are concerned, not a huge amount. It's been a difficult start for them. Unlike London, unbeaten and unsurprisingly sitting on top. Bristol also shooting 100% after 3 games. The Giants, as we saw last Friday, look like they could be contenders to this season. They are right in the mix. The Sharks have got their first win on the board. More of that shortly. Surrey and Newcastle waiting for their first point. So the Eagles are through to the next round of the Cup after a narrow win over Plymouth. And speaking of that win for Sheffield, they showed a lot of fight against Cheshire because Cheshire blazed into a 12-point lead early on, but Sheffield rallied, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the experience of the team coming through there, not getting them down on themselves, sticking with it and fighting back. And this was a great win for the Sharks. This is one that they really needed. They really needed to get that bad omen off their back. And I think this was the game that they showed a gritty win against the tough Cheshire Phoenix team.
There's their coach, Atiba Lyons. Of course, you played for him for many years, Mike. What will he be saying to his players at this stage of the season when it's been such a tough start?
I mean, it's still early doors, and Atiba is one of the most experienced guys in the league. So for him, I think it's telling the guys to relax. Don't play tight. It's a long, long season. Stick with it. We're going to get there. We just got to figure it out and do it together.
It is a mix, as Mike was saying earlier, of returning talent, plus new faces, of course, all woven together by Atiba Lyons, who is one of the most experienced in the business. The foundation that is back this season includes Rodney Glasgow Jr., their new skipper, Marcus Delpeche, Kipper Nichols, Jordan Rotino, Bennett Cook. They are all returning. The new faces include some American talent, the backcourt duo of Channel Banks and Saeed Nelson. We saw the win against Cheshire, and defensively holding them to under 50 points. Rodney Glasgow said, we're moving in a really good direction, and that defensive performance definitely underpins that. The offense is what needs to get going, and that means Saeed Nelson, who's been strong so far this season, needs to take it up another gear.
Yeah, I mean, Saeed's been a great pickup for the Sharks this season. Obviously, he's leading the team in points this year. But yeah, the Sharks traditionally, we've been a defensive club. Atiba Lyons, that's his mantra. He praises defense. Now with this new team and these new faces, new starters, we've got to figure it out on the offensive end. They've got to find that cohesion and that rhythm to put the ball in the basket.
He's leading the team in points and shooting and assists, and Rodney Glasgow says he's getting better game by game. Drew, what have you made of his start to the season?
I saw him in preseason, and I called him a pro's pro, like a guy that's going to make the right decision every single time. And when his numbers called to step up offensively, he's proven that he has the talent to take it up a level.
Javen Oguniemi, British big, I'd say very much built in the Mike Tuck mold.
If there was a guy to come in and fill my shoes, this is a great pickup. I mean, he had a little bit of a slow start in preseason, but now he has hit the ground running. He has been the most consistent big for the Sheffield Sharks so far, almost averaging a double-double. He is a beast on the boards. He plays with his heart on the sleeve. I love his style and his energy that he brings every night.
Kipper Nichols, a player that you played with his first 2 years as a Shark, going into his third. What's his ceiling? How good can he be?
Kipper Nichols has all the tools and all the potential to do it. He's just got to get out there and do it. And I think, the club have put a lot of confidence in him, and everybody around him have put confidence in him. This is a big season for him. He really needs to step up. He has all the tools. It's all right in front of him.
Is there a sense that there's real upside with this team? You look at players like Kipper Nichols, Rodney Glasgow, Jordan Rotino, that on their day, if they're playing up to their highest potential in a knockout tournament, they could beat anybody.
Yes, the pieces are there. We know we can get it done on the defensive end. We know we can lock up anybody, but offensively is where they need to find it. But yeah, the pieces are there. We've got a lot of all-stars on this squad.
All right, let's move on to Newcastle. Tough start in the league for them as well, 0-3, but their first win of the season in the Cup on Sunday against Plymouth Drew.
Yeah, and if you look at last week, Javion Hamlin scored 29 points. No one else in double figures. We know he can do that. So someone else needed to step up for the Newcastle Eagles. In this game in particular, who was it? Dave Cone, stepping up 21 big points, 5 threes, proving that he can do more than just play make.
Got him a spot in the BBL Team of the Week with that performance. A lot of change this season, as you said. New head coach we just saw there, Mark Stuttel. No more Ramon Fletcher, the great Fletch, 2-time MVP. Your former sparring partner now with the Giants. But have they been playing better than their record suggests?
It's hard to say. I mean, they've been struggling. If you look at their roster has changed tremendously over the last couple of weeks. I went to the London game a week ago, and I saw some promise there. They went nip and tuck with London all the way into the third quarter, and then obviously that parlayed into the Plymouth game. So things are looking up for this team.
Let's look at David Cone. Big game, as we've just seen, against Plymouth and the numbers, but it was also a really clutch performance, wasn't it? Because he had a run of points and some key assists in the middle of the third quarter that was clutch. I mean, it was really, really key that he stepped up and lifted the team.
I was very impressed. That game is always a banana peel for us. That's our longest trip of the year. And Dave Cone proved that he can bring more to the table. His natural ability as a table setter, he was brought here to feed guys, but with everybody struggling to shoot the ball, they needed somebody else to step up, and he proved that he could.
Javion Hamlet, his teammate Ben Mockford described Javion this week as a perfect guard for the league. Do you agree?
I totally agree. I love to watch this guy play. He was one of my 6 guys in my BBL piece of a player spotlight. He can finish with an array of runners, floaters. His game is really, really nice, and he's a great asset to our league.
Darius Defoe, we've seen a lot of these new faces. How important is Darius Defoe, your old teammate, particularly in a challenging start to the season like this?
Well, his voice is going to be needed to be heard often and early. And I spoke to him yesterday, and he said to me, "It's Drew Doggy. We're almost there." So he's very confident that they're turning the corner, and the Newcastle Eagles are going to start playing much better basketball.
All right, well, they can certainly step up and demonstrate that in prime time tonight. It'll be interesting to see what both coaches think about tonight's game. Both of them, of course, at very different stages of their career. Atiba Lyons, hugely experienced. Mark Stuttel in his first year as a BBL head coach. Drew caught up with him a little bit earlier on.
Coach, a tough start, but coming into this off your first win, what's the mood in the camp?
I think it's pretty positive. I think it could easily be 3-2 right now. We've had some tough losses. We bounced back, and I think, guys are positive of the outcome.
And with the early struggles, what's been most urgent at training?
I think for us, it's just about working on our ball movement and getting the ball spitting around and improving our assist total, so different guys are scoring points.
And defense was your staple last season. Is that more of the same to the Sharks' success this season?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of helped us even keep some of those games close that we've had already, and definitely got us over the line against Cheshire. So it's going to be something that we got to kind of lay our hats on.
And it may be a good time to face the Newcastle Eagles. What are your keys to getting that win tonight?
I think with Newcastle, they have a lot of tools, a lot of weapons. They space the floor well. We have to make sure we do a good job, help side talking, and also just keeping some of their guys like Hamlet quiet.
Coach, 16 days into the job as Eagles head coach, what have you learned about the British Basketball League?
I'm having a blast. The league is what I thought it was. It's competitive, challenging. things that we're trying to navigate positively. I would say expect the unexpected. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, man. The league's competitive.
And winless in league play, but coming off an impressive road win, what were the positive signs?
I thought we shared the ball well. I thought we tried to execute for longer periods of play. And I thought that we toughed it out in a difficult environment. You know, we know what that trip is after a tough home game on the Friday. 800-mile round trip, tough environment to play in. So I was pleased that the guys toughed it out and able to get the right outcome.
In early struggles in establishing a roster, what will Donovan Johnson bring to this team?
Yeah, Donny is, well, he knows the league. He's a competitor. He kind of wants to win, and whatever that looks like for him, I know that he'll take that role on. I think he'll give us some defensive toughness, a presence on the boards. He can shoot the ball, and he takes pride in guarding. And
finally, Coach, what is your philosophy in rebuilding this Newcastle Eagles side?
Yeah, we got to control every day, make sure that every day we're progressing the right way. I feel like we're taking steps forward, you know, but we need to make sure we convert that into playing the right way, getting some wins on the board. But it's about us, you know, playing an Eagles brand of basketball. Starts on the defensive end. Discipline and focus on execution, sharing the ball, and hopefully getting some wins.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thanks.
I bet you loved an 800-mile round trip, didn't you?
I'm glad I'm here.
You talked about the Newcastle brand of basketball. As someone who played for the club for so long, know the fans so well. What kind of basketball did they want to see Newcastle play?
A gritty style of play. And right now, if you look at their team stats, this team hasn't found their identity. Offensively, they're one of the worst teams, and defensively, they're one of the worst teams. So with the roster changes, I don't think they have realized what they're going to be yet. So it's going to take time, like Mike said with his Sharks. There's going to have to be some patience with the Newcastle Eagles.
Well, if we do look at the team comparison, it absolutely bears that out because unlike Newcastle, Sheffield, as we've established, one of the strongest defenses in the BBL right now, holding Cheshire to under 50 as we saw earlier. Although, Mike, they gave up 100+ against Manchester in a shootout, and that obviously went over. But it does beg the question, what kind of Sharks do you expect to see tonight against this Newcastle side?
I think they've had time to regroup, and obviously after coming off a big win, holding the team to 50, I think they'll be very defensive-minded tonight. That's, you know, Drew talked about identity. That's always been part of the Sharks' identity. Defense first. So I think, you know, if there's anything that Coach Steve Lyons has been preaching in practice this week, it's been defense.
All right, we are almost set for game time here in Sheffield, moments away from tip-off. We've just got the championship underway this season, but both of these BBL powerhouses want a big show in prime time to ease the early season blues. Tip-off is coming next.
Are you ready for this? High energy, high drama.
This is BBL basketball.
Coming up next.
Sheffield Newcastle is our Friday night game this week. The Sharks fans love their ball. They are used to seeing a winning team as well. The same can be applied to Newcastle, of course. Both teams need to jumpstart their seasons. Calling play-by-play tonight, as ever, Ant Rowe is alongside Dan Ravage.
Thank you very much, Nat. Yes, indeed. Two teams not familiar to seeing themselves at the bottom end of the table, Ant.
Well, it's still really early in the season, but you've got that feeling that it's a must-win for both teams, so really interesting to see who comes out on top tonight.
Well, let's take a look at the starting fives for today's game, and it's really important for both these teams to be able to get some points on the board. Sheffield's starting lineup, only two guys who average double figures this season.
And they're going to have to lean on them a lot, but they're going to have reinforcements. I think Rodney Glasgow Jr. given that leadership role, but Nelson has been that pivotal point for them on offense this season so far.
At the other end of the floor, Hamlet has made a great start to his BBL career, and in the middle, the veteran presence of Darius Defoe.
Hamlet's been electrifying, Dan. 23 points per game, one of the leading scorers in the league, and coach has decided to go with the veteran, the experienced Darius Defoe, 37 years old, in the centre there, controlling the paint.
Well, the two teams have made their way out onto court, and we are ready to get things underway. Two of the most successful clubs in the history of British basketball going toe-to-toe, but finding themselves with a record they wouldn't have hoped for a few weeks ago. Which one of them will get an all-important league win on the board here tonight as Kennedy goes to work for the opening score.
Really good start for the Eagles. It looked like they got what they want. They were patient. Got Kennedy on the low block there, and he converts.
Here's Nelson. Not much going on this offense. Shot clock getting low. Still with Nelson. And a tough shot at the end of it. That is not a play that Atiba Lyons will be happy with.
It's not down. The ball stayed stagnant in one man's arms. What you got there was lack of movement, and Saeed Nelson was having to create for himself, which was a really good resistance from the Newcastle Eagles on defense.
And a quick foul as well. I mentioned at the top how slow Sheffield were to start last Sunday at Cheshire. They did come back to win the game, which is the most important thing. Here's Glasgow with the steal. Rodney Glasgow getting all the way to the basket for their first score.
Lead from the front, and that's the captain there, setting the tone. Good anticipation on the steal, and an even nicer finish.
Kennedy. Pass deflected. Bertino comes up with it. Glasgow. Oh, that's not a great pass, and stolen away by Varner, who'll get the easiest jab of the game.
Varner so long and athletic, and that was the easiest of steals he'll have. He plucked that out of the air, and it was an easy dunk finished on the other end of the floor.
Nelson round the screen, knocked loose by Defoe. Glasgow's on top of the ball, but he couldn't quite find it, and that will be deemed a hell ball, and possession arrow means Sheffield will keep it.
Another positive play from Rodney Glasgow. He doesn't dive on the ball there. David Cohen, oh, there's the play before where Werner anticipates the pass, and again, relatively easy sequence of events for him.
Here's Nelson. Glasgow has it ripped away. Newcastle defensively forcing errors from the Sharks.
Both teams turning over early down there. Have to be more distinct for their offense.
With the shot clock ticking down, Defoe mid-range, back iron, Cook with the rebound. Here's Nelson. Back to Nichols at the elbow. 1-2 from Cook is off the mark.
It's a good shot, though. I think you want Bennett Cook taking that. He stepped into it. He had plenty of time. Just couldn't quite convert on that occasion.
Here's Defoe. Trying to get it to Hamlet. Nelson denying him the ball. Now they've got the mismatch with Hamlet. Not much shot clock to work with, though. And he runs into trouble. Needs to go up here. Cohen gets it away. And, well, if it did hit the ring, it went straight out of bounds anyway.
Well, there was a mismatch in positions, but there certainly wasn't an advantage given to the Newcastle Eagles. Good stand from Bennett Cook, and Hamlet was having to create with very little time on the clock.
Well, Drew Lasker has joined us in commentary. What do you made of the opening 3 minutes, Drew?
Well, a lot of hands on balls, 2 steals each for both sides, and we know what the Sheffield Sharks can do defensively. For me, the magic number is 80 for the Newcastle Eagles. Since that double overtime win, the Sharks have kept opponents under 74 points, and the Newcastle Eagles have yet to score of 80. So if I think if they could score 80, they'll have a good chance tonight.
First to 80 then, Drew.
There we go.
Are you surprised?
Well, 75 I'd probably take it. With 2 lowest scoring teams in the league going head to head. Here's Nichols under great pressure from Kennedy, misses everything. Varner, direct route, kicks it out to Defoe. Throwing to Defoe, top of the key, that's his shot, but it doesn't go this time.
A good contest again by Bennett Cook, making things really difficult, right in his grill. Difficult shot to make.
Go inside to Cook, who's got great position, and he converts for 2, will go to the line for a bonus.
Positive energy from Bennett Cook on both ends of the floor. It's always that question for Coach Atiba Lions, who do you start? Is it Bennett Cook? Is it Del Pesh? Is it Javian Yemi? You know, all 3 of those guys fighting for that one position, and Bennett Cook seems to be the favourite more often than not, and proven his coach right early on in this game so far.
And you're right, and with Cook and Del Pesh, both of them been a little bit inconsistent to start the season. So the Atiba Lions have shuffled those guys around, and a great confidence booster for Cook.
So he converts the 3-point play and gives Sheffield the lead. 4 minutes in to the opening quarter. Hamlet round the screen, just slipped slightly. And it's stolen away by Glasgow, or is it? Well, a signal of 2 to the bench. Nelson was the foul. Must have been from behind with a little reach in, which is even more frustrating for Coach Lyons, because that means Glasgow's steal was clean.
And that's the second time Hamlin has slipped in that same exact spot, so he might want to start working from the opposite wing.
Well, Nelson goes out of the game with 2 fouls. Channel Banks has been ruled out through injury. So that means Henzi Sacco into the game very early on, the young man. Hamlet, great pass, and a good finish from Shelton.
And I like that pass there from Hamlet. He's been showing more playmaking abilities over the last 3 games since that London Lions game last Friday night.
Glasgow for 3, off the mark.
Not really getting locked for that pick and roll there. Got a big screen from a 6'10" Cook. So you want Rodney Glasgow to perhaps be a little bit more aggressive with that.
Here's Kennedy. Varner, 5 on the shot clock, spins past Nichols. Rims out for him though, Sacco with the rebound.
Both teams playing like the least scoring teams in the league at the moment, struggling. So just create good looking shots.
Here's Nichols. Nichols has the arm pulled away, and that will be 2 shots.
That's just not an intelligent foul. Picked up his dribble, really difficult area of the court to shoot the ball. Those are fouls that you do not need to concede.
And that's a shot that you will live with, although we know Kipper likes to operate from that part of the court. But that was great on-ball defense that was going to lead into a tough shot. But one thing that I can say, guys, is the intensity level, the urgency from both teams is very evident tonight. They know how important this game is.
Well, between them, they started 0-7 in the league, which is the worst start combined for Newcastle and Sheffield ever. The previous worst, they were both 0-1. Wow. It shows you, A, how successful these 2 clubs have been over the history of the league, but also how jarring their starts this year have been.
Well, we're talking about this in October. It's not even mid-October yet, and such an early point of the season. But as you pointed out before the game kicked off, Drew, it's not BBL Cup anymore. It's straight into league. These all have ramifications now in the future, and it just feels like the urgency of this is a must-win for both teams here this evening.
Absolutely.
Corner underneath. Sheffield equaled their worst start to a league campaign at 0-4, but avoided 0-5. Newcastle 0-3 here. Win last week was in the cup. They'd love to see a win on the board in the league table as Kipper Nichols goes along the baseline.
And that's what they want from Kipper Nichols, to be aggressive. Shaheen Nelson is on the bench. He's their leading scorer. Who do you look to next? Kipper Nichols averaging 12 a game. Nice move.
Varner in the corner, tough shot. Glasgow has Sacco with him, gives it to Sacco. And great finish from Hensi Sacco.
Really good decision there from Rodney Glass. I wasn't sure if he was going to give up the pass, but he did. And young man Sacco converts.
Well, I was just surprised he didn't go over the top of him. That kid can jump, that's for sure. He's done well, actually, Sacco in the... nice drive to the basket. And that will count. And Hamlet will go to the line for a bonus.
Hamlet, they're getting into the body of the defense with the hang time and one. And like I said pregame, he's one of the best finishers within 15 feet in our league. This guy just has great touch. And he's left-handed, sort of like another guy we used to have for the Newcastle Eagles.
Guy over at Manchester now, Drew?
I think I remember that guy.
Hamlet does have a natural ability to score the ball, and I think an Eagle team that's struggling to string consistent offensive production, he's that guy that they have looked to. 23 points a game and scores in a number of ways, and he doesn't look to shoot the three ball, which is remarkable. How he's averaging 23 a game and not shooting the 3-point shot.
That pass from Glasgow over the top of Nichols and out of bounds. Just 20 points on the board in 7 minutes. Here's Mockford. He can certainly get things going, but that shot is short. Nichols just stumbling over out to Retino for three. Doesn't go, and that will stay with the Sharks. Delpesh making a nuisance of himself inside.
And both teams getting bailed out on the other side of the floor. Mockford, the best shooter for the Newcastle Eagles, left wide open. And then here on this side, Jordan Retino, who's the best shooter on the Sharks, is wide open. These guys got to be a little bit locked into the scouting report.
Donovan Johnson in for his Newcastle debut as Nichols fires up the three. Here's Hamlet. Little stutter. Steps underneath. That one rings out. Offensive rebound from Shelton. Hamlet with the mid-range. And this time Delpesh gets his hands on it.
It'll be a good battle of the boards now. You're Shelton against Delpesh. Two very big, strong, athletic centers going after them each and every missed shot.
Tino all the way to the hole. It's denied by Shelton.
Wow, came across there and denied. Coutinho's advances towards the basket.
That's an unsportsmanlike foul on Kipper Nichols. Hamlet didn't even get off the ground, and that was because Nichols just had a grab at him. Really unusual foul there by Nichols. Let's have another look at the block. Shelton sized him up there.
Wow. He was coming off the screen as well. Feels like he's got a layup, and Shelton's like, nope, not right now.
So the unsportsmanlike on Nichols means Hamlet gets 2 free throws, a chance to level the game. and then Eagles will get it from the side.
Well, what I just touched on earlier is about knowing the scouting report. Kipper Nichols with a long closeout on Hamlet, what you just said, and he doesn't shoot many threes. So if anything, you want him to take that shot, and you want a short closeout, and just a mistake there by Kipper Nichols.
1 of 7 through his 3 league games from behind the arc. Motford to inbound. Here's Johnson. Hamlet late in the shot clock, only 14 from the side. Hamlet left that short. Saka with the rebound.
Great job from the Sharks there to just cluster rebound that basketball before Duke Shelton got his hands on it.
Tino into Delpesh, and that's Delpesh's spot right under the basket.
And that's as easy as they come for him, and that's just that using that screen, and Delpesh is always going to dive to the rim. So a guard like Ratinho, Glasgow, excuse me, can create that space and feed the big man. He's going to convert.
Kennedy to the fall away. Rebound again by Sacco.
Great defense again by the Sharks, keeping the Newcastle Eagles 1 and done.
Here is Sacco trying to drop it into Delpesh. Motford's in the way. Out to Hamlet. Hamlet, good use of the body to attack the big man.
Great use of the body again, finishing with his right hand. And
excellent back-to-back play there from Ben Motford. The anticipation of the steal there, and then the nice thread of the outlet pass there to Hamlet, who is going to be money in the open floor.
Here's Sacco. Into Delpesh. Delpesh off the glass for 2.
There you go. High percentage shots in and around the rim. Got to get a big man going. And at the moment, the Sharks have got Delpesh and Oppenheimer.
Last few seconds here of the first quarter. Hamlet getting all the way to the basket, dancing his way to the hole and laying it in for 2 more points. He has 9 of his team's 15 here in the opening quarter. At the end of the first at Ponds Forge International Sports Centre, it is 15 points to the Sharks and 15 points to the Eagles. We'll have the second quarter right after this break. Welcome back to Sheffield, where we are tied at 15 points apiece here. And, well, two teams not shooting the ball particularly well. Your Eagles shooting just 35% here, Drew.
Yeah, but I've been impressed with their scrappiness, in particular on the defensive side, where they ranked second to last on that side. Offensively, we know what Hamlet can do. He can put up numbers. The question has been the others. Only 2 guys averaging double figures on this team. So where else will they get their offense at tonight?
That's one way of doing it, getting Shelton in close to the basket.
He's a high-energy guy, and he's put big numbers up in this league before. Of course, last year, the season ended for injury. He's a guy that can have a big game in this league.
Delpesh with a good finish.
Another guy who can have a big game in this league. Delpesh starting off early. 6 points for him personal.
Well, to your point, Drew, Newcastle, I know it's early days, they've only played 3 games, but last in the league in scoring so far. And, I mean, when you played there, I think it was like 9 years of first in the league in scoring. That's what Newcastle were renowned for. They would just outscore you.
Yeah, look, it's a new era here in Newcastle. It's a new coach. It's a new set of players. There's Defoe and Duke Shelton, the only returning player. So, like I mentioned at the top of the show, the Eagles have to figure out what their identity is going to be in this new BBL. And with the changes of the players over the last couple of weeks, they haven't had an opportunity to really build chemistry on either side of the ball.
Just in case Fab Flanoy is watching, you play defense as well, because that was his first thing, but Newcastle renowned by everybody outside of the Eagles as a high-scoring team. Saka's going to chase that down court, but it was deflected away, so it is Sheffield ball, but it will be from the backcourt, so they'll have some work to do in 14 seconds.
And speaking of Fab Flanoy, his philosophy was bring in offensive players and teach them how to play defense.
Nelson spinning to the basket. Shelton with the defensive rebound.
Coach Tiba Lyons looking to inject Nelson back in the game, but of course he's going to have to be cautious on the defensive end with 2 fouls.
As you say that, he gambled at trying to block a shot there. Cohen going to the basket, throws it up high, and both the Sheffield bigs look at the referee to go, wasn't me, ref. 21 shown to the table, which is Delpesh's number.
See Cohen here attack the rim, and that's what they're going to need from the Eagles. Primarily, he's a pass-first guard. You know, throughout his college career, pro career, he averaged very impressive numbers in terms of assists, but they're going to need more from him as well in terms of his own individual production on the offensive end.
Well, Delpesh just picked up his second foul. He is among the substitutions leaving the game. Ratino and Sacco also sitting down.
And back to your point, and I spoke to a couple of guys last week, and they said that they've been telling Dave Cone to be more aggressive. He passed up a couple of open opportunities in previous games, and obviously that paid dividends on Sunday in Plymouth as he scored 21 points and just drove aggressively here to the basket here.
Hit some important shots as well in the first half when Plymouth were playing really well. Could have got away from Newcastle were it not for the 3-point shots that he knocked down. Here's Nelson. Forced back out. 5 on the shot clock. Not a great foul there by Johnson.
No, it's not. It's one of those ones where just got to get back in position there. A little bit too aggressive on the hedge. Way too much contact there. Easy call for the ref.
With 3.2 on the shot clock. That's the one where you just don't overcook it and give the referee an opportunity to blow the whistle. Late in the shot clock again, so Oganyemi takes the jumper. Johnson ends up on the floor. Cook trips over him. And it's Johnson who was running down court, assuming the foul went in his favor. It went against him.
And that's where that hurts him. Picks up 2 quick ones. Looking like he's going to have to go to the bench here now.
There's a bit of a rugby scrum, but it looked like his foot might have caught Cook in the face as well.
It's always that difficult period, Scooby Dan. When you're a new player, you just want to get settled in. You want to prove that you're hiring you was the right decision, and you want to start your mark off from the jump. But Donovan Johnson's going to have to be patient here now.
Maybe his debut, but he did, of course, play for the Manchester Giants before, so he's not new to the league in that regard. Sometimes you see guys in foul trouble first game in, but you would have been hoping for better. Here's Kennedy with a lot of room at the top of the key to knock down the three, and the Atiba Lions had already requested a timeout before that score, and it stretched Newcastle to a 4-point lead, which in a low-scoring game like this feels like a lot.
It does, doesn't it? And that was a really well-ran offense. You saw the screens were crisp, the ball was moving, and when you've got Kennedy stepping into that three-point shot all the time in the world, that's good quality shots, and that's what you need when you're a team who's struggling for the offensive end.
Well, earlier Drew caught up with David Cohen to see how he's finding life in the BBL.
Dave, tough start, but encouraging signs. How hungry are the team in turning things around?
I think we're a very hungry group of individuals. We've been practicing really hard since I've been here about 3 weeks ago. So it was a matter of time before we got that win last week, got that off our back, and I think we had a really positive group practice this whole week, and we're really looking forward to get back on the court and keeping it rolling.
And a season high personally in the Cup win in Plymouth. Can we expect more from you?
I sure hope so. My role is to just do whatever I can on any given night to help the team win, and that game it ended up being scoring more. Other games it's going to be facilitating more. So honestly, whatever it is to win, that's what you can expect, I hope.
And speaking of win, what are the keys to breaking through this tough Sheffield Sharks defense and getting the win?
Yeah, so obviously they have some key players that we need to make sure we keep intact. So that's front of the line. But most importantly, this is focus on us. We need to play the right way, play to our identity, our strengths, and I think we should be all right.
Well, he spoke very well there, Cohen. Interesting talking about his role within the team and where he will step up in terms of individual contribution, and at other times looking to find his teammates. Good ball movement, find the open shooter. Glasgow can't convert though.
Positive sign from the Sharks, though. There's good ball movement inside, outside, swung the basketball. They just weren't able to knock down the shot.
Hamlet into the key. A bit flat, that one. Here's Nelson using his speed, but running Cohen over. And a charging foul is called, and that's going to be his third personal foul.
Great defensive play there from David Cohen. Just putting his body on the line there, and that's the gamble. That's the dice you roll when you play a player of Nelson's caliber with 2 fouls.
Well, they've already one man down with Banks unavailable. So Sacco is going to get some extended minutes tonight. The young man has shown glimpses of what he can be as he starts out his career. He's played well in the minutes that he's been given this season, and he's going to get a fair few more tonight, I would imagine. Here's Varner. Hand in his face, and that rims out. Sacco with his 4th rebound of the game. 5th rebound of the game, sorry.
Wow, he's active. The concern for Sharks here now, the leading scorers on the bench. He's 0 points so far. The team have 17 points with 6 minutes left to play in this half. They've got to figure out a way here now to consistently put points on the board.
Well, here's one guy that they would usually go to. Gets his own rebound, Nichols. Trying to find some way underneath the basket. Another offensive rebound. Cook takes it in. He's bumped, and soft touch for the foul and the bonus.
Persistence, persistence, persistence. Kipper Nichols didn't give up on the play. Neither did his counterpart Bennett Cook there, and finally gets it to go.
And a promising thing for the Sharks as Cook finishes strong there. Ogunyemi, in my personal opinion, has been their best big, but we look at the start of this game and there's 11 points, 12 now between Delpesh and Cook, so very promising for the Sharks in this game and moving forward.
Well, 12 of the 20 from those two players, 9 of the 21 from one player, Hamlet, for Newcastle. Both coaches would like a little more spread. Cohen giving some room as Glasgow stumbled backwards. Sacco. Didn't get the pass over Kennedy. Cohen passes a little behind him, and that ricocheted out and will be a Sheffield ball, much to the consternation of David Cohen, who's convinced it was the other way.
Let's take another look at this one.
Ooh, I think he was right.
The ref was right, or
no, Cohen? I think Cohen was right.
We got to see that again. I still couldn't tell you. That's a difficult call.
I couldn't see it in real time either. Well,
David Cohen was convinced. There's Warner again with a hand in the passing lane.
And we talked about identity from the Newcastle Eagles, and very promising on that end of the ball. 4 steals currently. Let's see who this ball.
I still think that was off Kipper. On we play. Here's Nichols at the other end. Ooh, right idea. Cook's going to have to heat one from 3-point range. And, look, a decent form on that from the big fella. Varner. Carrying violation called against Shavion Hamlet. That is a call you do not see very often.
That was a good call.
Wow. The God's Union, where they take your membership away or what?
Well, in real time, it looked like a carry to me, so.
Glasgow. Sacco inside to Nichols, who just about got it away. Turned over in the end, it's Cohen. Oh, it's a goaltend, but Sacco got right up there. Pretty sure it did hit the backboard before Sacco got a hand on it. Let's have a look. Backboard, it's a goaltend.
Great call from the referees, but promising from Sacco.
Told you, this kid can leap. He is an athlete.
Man.
Wow.
The violations make top 10 plays.
Well, if they did, that one's in there.
If I put that on my highlight tape, I did that, by the way.
Just take the commentary out, put some music in
the background, no one will ever know.
Exactly. Great play by the young fella.
Wow, when your man's down, this is it. This is how great players are made, right? When opportunities are given. And Sacco, he was promising too. The last time we were here with Sky Sports, he had a really positive showing. Let's see if he can match that energy in the second half.
Well, he contributed to that late run by Lions.
And that's a foul called against Bennett Cook. Home fans not liking it, but that's against their center.
And that's why that 37-year-old winning man is playing the minutes he plays. It's really intelligent basketball. 10 years ago, he's probably trying to block that shot. Now he just knows that he has good positioning. The referees will give the possession back to his team.
And I don't know if we stat that, but I'm sure Darius has close to 10 charges this season. I mean, in the preseason, I saw him take 4, so really setting the example by putting his body on the line for his team.
If we did stat it, we don't count the preseason ones, Drew. Come on now.
When you're 37, they all count.
Hamlet getting to the hole and laying it in.
Hamlet is so creative. Even in the areas of the court where there's lack of space, he finds a way, he finds a gap. It's a nice finish.
He's the first man into double figures, 11, almost half of his team's points is Cook. Has it knocked away, gets it back. Spinning for some room, and again he will go to the line for another 3-point play.
I really like Bennett Cook's mental toughness. If the initial play doesn't work, he stays with it. And this time gets hit on the arm, still finishes.
Third personal foul against Darius Defoe, and now he has to walk to the bench. It's 9 points, Bennett Cook, all and ones. 2 plus ones for Bennett Cook.
Old-fashioned way down.
Yeah. You need to be standing all the way out there. Get your points at the basket. Here's a guy who gets his points at the basket. Hamlet trying again, and there's a foul in there. I think it's Glasgow. Yes, 11 is shown to the table.
Like, I know both teams are struggling offensively, but you can just see the urgency from each and every one on court. Every scrappy little play is given 100%. Intensity levels are high.
Lobbed into Varner. Looking to attack. I think Glasgow got him again. It could have been Montgomery. It is Nate Montgomery's foul, so it'll be 2 shots for Varner. They're over the limit.
It's a tough matchup there, Montgomery against Varner. Varner 6'7", long, athletic. Montgomery on the wrong side of 6 foot.
And Varner is the only player on the Eagles that I'm trying to figure out what his role is going to be for this team. I can see him being a one-man fast break, but in order to play that, you got to get out, get steals, which he showed he could do tonight. Grab defensive rebounds and push the ball and knock down open shots when you're open.
Varner makes them both from the free throw line, doubles his total. Here's Regina inside to Cook. Slap down from Kennedy.
Another good call from the referee, and Bennett Cook's taking up so much attention now, and Sheffield Sharks is trying to ride Bennett Cook's ability to seal his man low. When points are hard to come by, you want to dump the ball down to your big man inside to get you some high percentage shots in and around the rim.
Well, for the first time tonight, he's going to the line for 2 free throws. He is a perfect 4 of 4 now.
10 points personal for Bennett Cook. The first in the Sharks jersey to reach double digits.
Not seen much of Ben Montfort in the first half here for the Newcastle Eagles. 27 points on the ball. Cohen just with a little slip. He's a little behind Varner. He's able to keep possession. Trying to muscle his way to the basket. Great work by Shelton. Sheffield eventually come away with it.
Wow. Contesting every shot. Everything is so labored. In and around the rim there.
Kennedy's got caught for another one there. That's going to be his third personal foul. He'd given up the inside position from when fronting the post, but the problem is when it came to the high post, he's now in a terrible, you can see he's fronting, now he's in trouble, and he's just got his hand around his waist.
And you can't commit those fouls when you're in team fouls. Every single foul like that is a trip to the line for Bennett Cook, who's been perfect from the free throw line. You've got to try your best to get around. It's easier said than done. Bennett Cook is a big body and it's a long way around, but when you're out of position like that, you've got to try and get back in between the basket and contest any shot.
Well, first missed free throw of the game for Bennett Cook. He is 6 of 7 now after that. Half his points have come from the line. 1 point game with 2 to play here in the first half. Hamlet with the step back, air ball, and he's out of court there, Shelton, as he caught the ball.
Well, Hamlet, not his natural shot there, and well, the small sample size we've seen in his BBL career so far is 1 of 8. Really like what he does when he attacks the rim. He's very creative. We want to see more of that.
Here's Cook again. Five on the shot clock. Lost by Retino.
Well, Rotino hasn't been able to settle into this game. It hasn't been his best game so far. He's 0 points, but he's not that same Rotino we usually see, who makes those super sharp cuts and gets himself and his teammates open.
9 turnovers from the Sharks. Newcastle, after a couple of early ones, have taken better care of the ball. Here's Varner with the scoop layup. He will go to the line for 2.
And that's what you have to do when you're a team that's not hitting the shots from all over the place. You want to attack the rim, get the referee to blow the whistles. Every foul thereafter is a trip to the free throw line. And Varner doing a good job of getting the defense to commit the foul.
Second foul on Nichols. A lot of players will be going into the second half just in the back of their head thinking about that.
It's been one of those games, isn't it? High contest, high fought. Every ball is a scrap, and any player out of position wants to make sure they compensate. Picking up a foul here and there. A lot of players in foul trouble.
Just over a minute to go in the first half. Sheffield trailing by 3, but with the ball. Here's Cook, who's been their leading scorer in the game, and again, great footwork. He's up to 14.
Beautiful move. It's all about the positioning first, which you can see Duke Shelton's forever trying to play catch-up. Beautiful use of the pump fake, and up through for the finish.
Varner with the step back, knocks it down, long 2.
You can see Varner looks for that. He likes, as well as attacking the rim, he likes that step back, create space, jump shot. That looked natural.
Here's Cook. This time he goes with the quick step to the basket.
Unstoppable Bennett Cook. 16 points personal.
The shot clock is off. They can tell. Oh, he's traveled with it. And they're going too quick there, Newcastle.
It's the worst time to turn the ball over. You have that opportunity to have the last offense of the half. And the travel there. Another turnover for the Newcastle Eagles.
Interestingly, Cohen turned to the bench and tapped his chest and said, my fault on that, because the guard really needs to keep possession there. Glasgow out to Rotino. Kicked on to Ogunyemi. Overcooks it. Well, very little in this game between these two teams. It's been low scoring. 15-15, 15-16 in the second quarter. We can't really separate these sides so far around.
Well, both of these teams score the least amount of points in the league. Did you expect anything different, Dan? But it's been that. What I would say, for all of the, I think the troubles and tribulations on the offensive end, defensively, both teams are committed. You can tell the intensity, the scrappiness of both teams. This game is a game that means something.
Well, the three-point shooting, nothing to write home about so far. 1 for 11 combined, both getting it done at the free throw line, and unsurprisingly, the number's not too dissimilar. Sheffield turning it over a bit more, but making up for that on the rebounding.
Yeah, those numbers aren't pretty by any means, especially from the three-point line, but the Sheffield Sharks have found that consistent offensive stream in Bennett Cook. 16 points at halftime for him.
Well, nothing really between these two teams at the half as we take a look at the second page of stats and points in the paint. Unsurprisingly, with Cook doing so well for Sheffield, they edge that category at the moment.
They do, but, you know, let's not forget Javian Hamlet. He's done a really good job of penetrating, getting in those gaps and finishing for points in the paint also.
Let's get some reaction from Darius Defoe. He's with Drew.
Darius, you told me on Sunday that you were almost there. What have you seen tonight that gives you that confidence?
I just think we've been playing a lot of defense, and that's the mistake. We think we've been practicing all we can practice.
And in year 19, you out there taking charges, putting your body on your line. I see you there talking on the bench. What message are you trying to send to your teammates?
I'm just trying to put a positive atmosphere to the team, make sure everyone can concentrate on the defense.
And finally, what's required in the second half to make sure you guys get out of here with your first league win?
We just have to keep the ball moving, keep the ball moving and keep playing hard, and that's it.
Thanks for your time, Darius.
All right.
Definitely one for the defensive purists out there. 31-30 at the half. Keenly poised. Reaction and analysis from Mike Tuck next. Welcome back to Sheffield. A narrow lead for Newcastle at the half. Last week we had that electric affair in Manchester between the Giants and the Phoenix. Tonight we've had flashes of the drive and the dynamism, offensively anyway. There's been few and far between. Both teams' defenses stepping up, but a 31-30 scoreline tells you everything we need to know. Not least this one is very, very keenly poised, and both teams desperately needing the win. The Sharks with just one win in the league this season. The Eagles, well, they haven't got their league account up and running yet, so a critical second half coming up. You can see the tail there. Both teams shooting under 40% from the floor, particularly because, well, look at that three-point range. Just 1 from 11. The Eagles with a solitary bucket from downtown. Horrendous stuff in that respect, but some positives to take for both sides as well, and Mike Tuck and I are going to get into them now. Let's start with that very slow pace, particularly from Sheffield, which is their way, but do you feel at times it was too understated until they got Bennett Cook rolling?
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing that I noticed is they came out the gate slow. It seemed like, they were just a bit drowsy, a bit lackadaisical, and I thought this might have been a game where they might have come out with a little bit more fire, and that's what I'm trying to look to see from them here in the second half. But if we look back to this first half here, it was the defense that was really on show, on display on both sides of the ball here. You see my fellow Torontonian, Jamel Kennedy, locking up. They
get that in every time, don't you?
That's it. They were getting out. They were, flying at shooters here. We see there weren't any easy shots in this first half, which is why we have such a low score. And then, down the other end with the Sharks, defense is in the Sharks' DNA. They were flying around. They were being physical, protecting the paint, protecting the rim. The problem is the offense, obviously. You know, we've got a low-scoring game here, but at least in a positive note, it's an even game and it's a close game.
It's still both in it. When it's a low-scoring game, it is tight defense typically, but also a lot of missed opportunity. We saw plenty there.
Yeah, definitely. I think there was lots of missed opportunities, lots of missed shots or driving lanes and passes that were all missed from both sides of the ball. So that'll be something that we look to be adjusted at halftime. You know, how are we going to get other guys involved?
Couple of opportunities, or exceptions, I should say, to that rule, though. Let's look at Javian Hamlet for the Newcastle Eagles. He was the pick of their bunch with 11 points, although most of those came in the first quarter. And he was dynamic, dishing it, getting involved in scoring as well. Their best player.
Yeah, 100%. You know, Drew talked about him before the game. This guy can score in many ways. He adds so much value to this Eagles team. See him taking the lane there. He's able to take a hit and finish. He can go both ways, right, left. Finished in the first quarter with a huge basket there. You know, he's going to be a huge piece for this team moving forward. And, you know, really tonight, the only guy putting points on the board. So they're going to need him to step up and do more, but also try and create for others.
Tellingly, the only Eagle in double digits. There was only one Shark in double digits, and that was Bennett Cook. But he really grew in influence, Bennett Cook, didn't he, as the game went on?
Yeah, I think Bennett's one of those guys. He's a confidence guy. He's a big fella. He doesn't miss too many of those right-hand hooks. So I think tonight he saw his opportunities, he took them, and he's really adding a lot of value for the Sharks tonight. One of 2 and 1s there, I believe, and he's just, you know, I think with a guy like Duke Shelton on him, he's seeing where he can pick his moments, and he's asking for the ball, and that's what we want Bennett to do is, you know, stay aggressive.
2 one-man bands offensively, so the supporting cast needs to step up in the second half. That is the tale of the first half here. Now, you've got big shoes to fill this week, Mike Tuck, because Kieran Achara has given you his blessing to anoint our play of the week. Have you been practicing?
Yeah, I've worked on my Scottish accent.
In the mirror,
so,
in the mirror, all week long. All right, let's get to it. It's our plays of the week.
Here's Mike Miller, drives inside, skips it out to Mahan, open 3-ball, knocks it down.
That's nice from Hamlet. That's nice from Hamlet. And he lays it in for 2. Here's Nelson, he's going to drive in, kicks it out. Zubic there for the slam.
What skill for a big guy. I don't just mean the dunk.
Very impressive Zubic so far.
Two-handed block from Ocherobia.
Goodness me, protecting that rim.
Turns it on the backboard to himself. Oh, have you ever seen anything like it?
Incredible. Treated this game like an all-star game. The defense was stuck. He's the only one who reacted from beyond the three-point line. What a play.
Can there be any doubt, Mike Tuck, any doubt where this one's going?
I mean, if anybody had watched the BBL in the last week, they knew that was going to be the play. That was absolutely disgusting.
Fine work. That play was so disgusting that it has inspired so many people. As you say, it's got everywhere, all across social media, which has been brilliant to see. So inspiring that you wanted to show us, Mike Tuck, before we rolled today, that you could recreate it. Here we go. Hollywood Mike Tuck showing that anything Taj Green could do,
I can do better, baby.
Look, it's the slow-mo. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Hey, I haven't been retired that long. Come
look
on
at this. Drew Lasker
There
getting
we
in
go.
on the action.
Hey.
Oh, look at that.
Hey.
There he
Let's
is.
go.
There he is.
Let's go.
You know, I'm sure based on that footage, Kieran will permit me. Mike Tuck, that was disgusting.
Disgusting.
Superb work. All right then, second half about to get underway here in Sheffield. Both teams need to get some kind of offense rolling, multi-dimensional anyway, because it has been one-man bands on both sides in the first half. Second half, coming next. Back in Sheffield, 31-30. Eagles over Sharks at the half. Players looking pensive, getting set. The second half is about to get underway. So let's go over to Anne and Dan.
Well, you saw Ben Mockford there. He didn't warm up at halftime. I'm assuming he must have picked up some sort of knock or aggravated something in the first half, because he didn't get involved. He's sitting down the end of the bench. It doesn't look like he's going to play. So that's both teams now slightly shortened on their rotation.
Yeah, Ben Mockford will spread the floor better than any other player in the league, and it's not just his ability to shoot the ball, and all defenses have to honour him being on the court, so that just naturally spreads the floor and less clustered inside. So, perhaps the Sheffield Sharks can pack it in there a little bit more now. But only 3 minutes to his name so far this evening, Ben Mockford.
Well, two teams back out onto court. Sheffield with the possession arrow will start us off here in the third quarter. Here's the Sharks captain, Rodney Glasgow Jr., bringing it forward. Going to Cook again. Squares up to Shelton, spins. And Shelton's arm's not quite straight there. He's done a good job with his feet.
Well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep going to Bennett Cook until it doesn't work anymore, because he was superb in that first half. 16 first half points for him. And, the Sharks lineup now, it still excludes Nelson, their leading scorer, averaging 15 a game. So they're going to have to find someone else now. You've got candidates out there. Glasgow Jr. on 2 points. Coutinho still on 0. Bennett Cook really has been that source they've been able to go to, but other individuals on the floor have to step up.
Well, Mike Tucker's joined us in commentary now. Your old teammate, Bennett, having a great game out there, getting himself to the line, really forcing the issue inside.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you love to see it, but I think tonight's matchup for him against Duke Shelton, I think he's really was up for this matchup, and I think, he's taking advantage of it. And like Anthony said, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So they're just going to keep hitting him until that stops working. But we do need other guys to step up. This is not the best shooting affair we've seen out of the Sharks or the Eagles. So I think on both sides, it's been a bit of a one-man band. We need other players to step up.
Well, there's an example of it. Cook with 17, the rest of the Sharks with 14, just as an example of how dominant he's been in this game so far.
Wow, when you say it like that, Dan.
Yeah.
It's me.
Glasgow trying to tie it up for the rest of the team there, but unable to do so.
Well, and that has been hard to come by. 3-point shots for both teams. Looks really dismal out there at the moment. 0 for 6 for the Sharks and just 1 for 7 for the Newcastle Eagles.
Looks like you're out there shooting 3, Dan.
Fair comment.
What about you, Dan?
Well, I couldn't possibly say. There's no video evidence, so I'm all right.
Check out Mike Tuck, fluent in Scottish as well.
Wow, he is, yeah.
You're in a shower. Watch your back.
Forever.
It's Cook at the top of the key, knocking down the jump shot.
Should have played for the Glasgow Rocks 10 years ago.
Oh, what could have been, Mike? What could have been?
It was a nice bounce pass from Kennedy. It was knocked away from Cohn by Kipper Nichols. And that's his third. And talked about the foul issues in the first half.
Yeah, and this is a common theme with Kipper. He's early foul trouble. It's just something he's got to be more attentive with. Keeping his hands to himself. They need him in the game.
Kennedy for 3. Knocks it down. A rare 3-pointer tonight. He is actually 2 of 2. It's everybody else who can't shoot.
That's it for 2. The 3-pointers that have been claimed this evening both belong to Kennedy, and again, nothing but net.
We see, Newcastle here recognizing that it's a tough shooting night for both teams, but they've dropped back into the 2-3 zone, inviting the 3-point shots.
Well, Nichols wasn't too far away from making Sheffield's first of the game there. Here's Hamlin. Off the mark. out to Retino for 3. Finally, Sheffield get one to drop.
Jordan Retino, when that ball swung round and forth for him, he's a guy that more often than not knocks it down.
Kennedy, a little early in the offense perhaps, but he hadn't made his previous 2. Retino, not this time. Knocked loose by Oganyemi, straight into the hands of Cook, who leaves it short.
Well, that's what you hope to get with Oganyemi and Bennett Cook playing together. Offensive rebounds and second chance opportunities that they got there.
Kennedy, Hamlet in the corner for 3. Rebound, Nichols. Pass down to Oganyemi, who finishes off the glass.
Really good patience from Oganyemi. He's had a really bright start to his BBL career, and as you see, round the floor, got good positioning. Nice use of that pump fake and soft finish.
Shelton. Late in the shot clock, he's looking for help, he needs it to go up. Cohen has to heave, Varner, they don't get it off in time.
Frustrating one for the Newcastle Eagles there. The bench was screaming the shot clock down, but that'll be a good sign for the Sharks there. You know, solid defensive display for them. Hopefully something to get them going.
Well, Coach Schudel has put Johnson back into the game. Struggled with fouls in the first half.
Johnson in foul trouble? No, it's great to see Johnson back in the league. Obviously, played with the Manchester Giants. Quite the personality. Likes to talk a lot on the court.
I think he'll be going back to the bench pretty quick. Oh no, it's 12 is shown. Shelton got him from the near side.
Oh, it's a tough call, isn't it? Really good time of the jump and the pretty accurate to me, but
hit the ball first, hit his head second.
it's still the Sheffield Sharks sitting next to me,
yeah,
Dan.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's Nichols.
Non-biased over here, come on.
Whatever the merits, he gets 2 free throws either way. Misses the first.
What is good, though, for the Sharks is Kipper Nichols. You know, they need him to stay active, stay aggressive, and that's what he did on that occasion. He's attacking the rim. He's trying to make something happen.
Makes the second, and Sheffield now lead by 5, which matches their biggest advantage, indeed the biggest advantage for either team in the game so far. Here's Johnson for 3. Hope away from which it will be a Sheffield ball.
Opportunity here for the Sharks. You know, 5 points doesn't seem like a lot in any other basketball game we'll commentate on this year, but today seems like a substantial margin, and you sort of feel the tip of momentum is swinging in the favor of the Sharks.
Well, what is it? About 12, 13, 14% of the offense is 5 points right now, isn't it? Here's Delpesh. Spinning off the glass, just a little strong.
Unfortunate, but I think that was the right play. Delpesh trying to attack Shelton, who wouldn't want to pick up his another foul just after conceding the foul a few plays before.
Cohen almost got run over by his teammate there. Again, Newcastle late in the shot clock. Johnson pushing hard. Blocked by Oganyemi, who gets the rebound as well.
Great defense from Oganyemi there. Stayed solid, didn't get pushed over.
There's a real battle inside between Delpesh and Shelton, and it's Delpesh who's called for the foul.
Yeah, great defense from Oganyemi here. Solid. Doesn't pick up the foul. Able to get the rebound down the other end.
Third personal foul on Delpesh. Hamlet Throws it. It looked like he was looking for other options.
He's so good at that, isn't he? That in the danger zone floater.
Yeah, he can score in many different ways. An unorthodox looking shot, but it goes in.
13 points now for him. Oganyemi, got to go up here. Nichols has to shoot, gets it away, and hits.
Well, it's a great shot, but what's more impressive is the awareness. Kipper Nichols knew the shot clock was winding down, and he sort of took the momentum and shot that fade away effortlessly.
He must have looked at the other end of the court, because from where he was, he wouldn't see it above the basket he was shooting at. Hamlet fires up the three and rattles one in.
The confidence of Hamlet. That's his first three-point shot of this evening. 5 quick points in a row from him.
Glasgow shaking and baking, fires up from the long 2-point range.
And that's what you want to see from your captain. Rodney has all the tools to pull off plays like that. We haven't seen a lot of from him in this game, but a big pullback like that, huge shot, get him going.
Hamlet, again, soft touch.
Well, he's heating up. 7 consecutive points for the Eagles come from by way of Hamlet. And that's 18 points personal now for him.
Tino along the baseline, dumps it off to Oganyemi for the two-handed throwdown.
Great penetration there from Ratinho, who uses that baseline to suck in the defense, and Oganyemi trails there for the dunk finish.
Hamlet again, trying to go to work. Can't get his own rebound, and will get a foul instead, as Ratinho managed to get his hands on the loose ball.
That's the play before, the penetration there. You see the defense. Ratinho's able to attract, and Oganyemi gets an easy dunk. And other end of the floor, that's excellent defense. One-on-one defense from Ratinho there. Doesn't reach over, just does enough to make it difficult for the red-hot Hamlet as he tries to add more to his personal total.
Well, it's 18. Cook leads the shot with 19. And there's nobody else in the game in double figures. Oganyemi in and out. We've had a couple of those tonight. Had a really unfortunate one last week as well against Caledonia that could have won the game. Just rimmed out like that. Horner to Defoe. Hamlet again. Horner to tip to himself, but still can't convert.
Good battling under the boards there. Del Pesh gobbling off that rebound.
Tino now for three. Horner doing a good job to pull in that defensive rebound.
He did. Del Pesh was on his back. He did a really good job to maintain balance and sky high and grab the board.
Well, it's going to be a foul on Johnson, battling for position in the low post, similar to the one we saw at the other end.
Making an impact on his first game back in the BBL. Unfortunately, a negative one.
Johnson's third. He's turned away to himself, unhappy with the call. Nelson. Ooh, that pass a little high, but Oganyemi is there to lay it in.
Oganyemi has been activated in the second half, looking much more aggressive, finding his lanes, cut into the basket, and finishing strong.
Sheffield now with the biggest lead of the game at 6. Hamlet goes the opposite way to the screen, just slips slightly. Sheffield come away with it, over the head pass to Ratinho, and it's not loose. Del Pesh has it though.
Good presence of mind from Marcus there. Not forcing a shot over defense, pulling it back out and getting a good possession.
Sheffield looking for the last score of the quarter. Regino driving in, floats it up, and it's in and good. And Sheffield, with a great finish to the quarter here, have opened up the biggest lead of the game. We're through 3 quarters at the Ponds Forge International Sports Centre. It is the Sheffield Sharks 49, the Newcastle Eagles 41. Can the Sharks hang on, or is there a way back for the Newcastle Eagles? We'll have the 4th quarter when we return. Welcome back to Sheffield, where the Sharks lead the Eagles by 8. Newcastle looking for their first league win of the season. They're going to have to come from behind in the 4th if they're to get it. They will get the first possession. Knocked loose by Nelson. Nelson, whose game has been blighted by foul trouble, played just 8 minutes in the contest. We talked about what he can do offensively if he gets going in the 4th. Sheffield would certainly welcome that. Defoe at the elbow. Nelson with the rebound.
With all the struggles, the Newcastle Eagles only mustered up 10 points in that 3rd quarter.
I think you need to check these rings out, Mike. So many shots bobbling out. You need to soften them up somehow.
Well, me and Drew did a shooting competition before the game, and my shots were going in, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Coming off the mark.
Don't hate the game, hate the player. Oh, wait, does it go like that?
Something like that. Here's Nelson getting all the way to the basket, but too strong on his lane. He gets the steal, though, and he might get the points back. Oh, what a finish from Saeed Nelson.
Beautiful play from Nelson. Didn't give up on the play. Somehow regained possession and hit a very, very nice-looking reverse layup.
And he gives his team a double-figure lead, and there's an offensive foul called against Jamel Kennedy, and that's going to be his 4th personal foul.
Lots of positive in that last play, though. Love to see the downhill action going to Nelson. You can't forget this guy's the team's leading scorer. We need to go to him, get him some shots, get him going.
Newcastle are in trouble here.
Yep.
Offensively, looks like it's dried up, and a couple turnovers, offensive fouls.
Bertino, long two, just towed it. Well, they've got, as you say, 10 points in almost 12 minutes in the second half here. Defoe onto Cohen. Cohen has a lane to the basket, but can't put it in.
Nothing is going for Eagles at the moment.
Tino's pass is deflected, but it's straight to Cook. Cook knocking Defoe to the ground, and that will have to force Stupel into a timeout. I assume Defoe was too far into the no-charge circle for it to be a charge, because they got a flop warning, so if it was a flop, it would have been a technical. So I'm guessing it's a no call on his feet position. Here's another look at that previous play from Hamlet. No points initially, but he just picked the pocket of Darius Defoe and said, I'll have my first score of the game, and it'll be a pretty one as well. Well, earlier, Drew caught up with him to see how he's doing in the UK.
Saeed, a slow start for the Sharks, but what are your thoughts on the British Basketball League thus far?
It's definitely a league fit for my game, I feel like. Very fast-paced, up-tempo, athletic dudes, man. And I think it's a good league for me to be in, where I belong. And I'm just glad to be a part of it right now.
And you're leading the Sharks in points and assists. You enjoying your role here?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, basketball, that's a big part of my life, but also I just like, the city's comfortable. Got no complaints so far. The team is nice. Everybody's good with each other, so I'm comfortable.
And what are some keys in getting your first home victory tonight?
Just not coming out flat. I feel like the past 3 to 4 games we've been coming out slow, trying to fight back, dig our way back, and most of the times that we fall short. So tonight, just come out with the energy I know our team has, and I think we'll be good.
Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, they've certainly got the energy right now. They've also got a 12-point lead in a low-scoring game. That is a huge mountain for the Newcastle Eagles to climb. Have they got it within them? Kennedy trying to get 3 of them and finding the bottom of the net.
Jamel Kennedy has been that one guy who's been prolific from the three-point line. 11 points personal for him, 3 for 4. 3-point shooting.
Cook. Nice pass from Nelson, and Cook has the great position to lay it in.
Incredible ball screen there. Simple action. Screen and roll. Screen and roll. Find your big fella. He's open.
The issue of Newcastle Eagles at the moment, yes, they're having their struggles offensively, but they seem to be struggling to stop the Sharks' offense.
Well, Delpesh didn't know too much about that, but his boot prevented a score and out of bounds. It does put a few more seconds on the shot clock, but that's not a worrying concern for him. There's Cohen. Varner driving in, getting all the way to the rim and laying it in.
Nice finish from Varner. Again, uses that pump fake and quick first step to get a trip all the way to the rim and finish.
He's into double figures now with 10. 3 Eagles there with Kennedy as well. And as you say, just went passes. Decent rotation from Cook, but he didn't get far enough out from the basket to be able to do much to put Varner off. Nelson across to Nichols, who loses his feet. Varner says thank you very much. Bertino gets a hand on that to deflect it away.
And that's one of those plays you have to convert. Newcastle Eagles pushed enough basketball. They've got numbers. But a good deflection. Martinho again, who's had a really strong second half.
Completely agree. Basketball is a game of runs here. Newcastle Eagles making their run right now, but Sharks doing a good job of weathering that storm.
Well, Nichols trudged off, frustrated with that last turnover, replaced by Glasgow. Here's Defoe to the fall away. Tough shot from Darius Defoe.
That's as tough as they come. And Darius Defoe, such a gamer. When the game's on the line, he is one of those guys you can place the ball in his hands to make a play.
Well, they've got 7 points now in relative quick succession, Newcastle. They need to keep getting stops. They got one here, but Oganyemi almost had the offensive rebound. Varner comes away with it. Varner with the transition three. Well, that's only a good shot if it goes in.
Yeah, I think Varner just trying to create something, make something happen. He's been really active. He just can't get that one to go. And as you say, Dan, it's a good shot if it goes in, but if not, poor shot selection.
Oganyemi given all the space in the world, probably too much space. Kennedy fires up another three. Airball.
Another poor shot selection from the Eagles. I think they've got to attack. Bennett Cook was down the other end of the floor, so when the 6'10" center's not in there clogging up the lanes, you've got to attack.
Nelson from the elbow. Oganyemi, who set the screen, gets the offensive rebound. Still with Oganyemi, and eventually gets his points.
Beautiful action from the Sharks there under the basket. Oganyemi not giving up on the play. Bennett Cook, little tap back, and the finish. Those are the type of plays that'll win you this basketball game.
And that's when that works. When you've got two big men playing at the same time, that's when you have the advantage. And they capitalize on it there.
Hamlet gets this big fella up in the air and drops it in for two. 7 points separate the two teams with 4:27 to go. 20 points for Javion Hamlet. Timeout called by a team of Lions.
Beautiful, intelligent move from Hamlet. He knew the size was against him. And Bennett Cook contesting that shot. As cool as you like with the up and under for the finish.
Well, 4.5 minutes to go. Both teams really could do with a win here in league play, Mike. Your Sharks up by 7 right now. What will Atiba be saying to the guys?
Well, it's, we were talking about before that defensive mentality here. I think it's, for me, it's 4 minutes left. Let's get 3 stops in a row right here and shut them down, and then execute on the other end. The ball movement has been much better in the last couple of minutes here. Ball's, moving around the ring a little bit more. Shots at the rim will probably be a lot better, downhill towards the basket rather than threes, considering only shooting 1 for 10 tonight.
Well, I feel like that would be the same for both teams. That the shooting percentages have been relatively low throughout, and the players have been most effective in the game. Cook, all his shots have been within 2 feet. Most of Hamlet's shots have been within 6 to 7 feet as well. Getting to the rim has been the way to get the scoreboard ticking in this game.
And Sheffield have been better at protecting the rim in the second half in particular, and that's why they're winning by 7 points. Big guys inside contesting, Oganyemi, Cook, making things really difficult for the Eagles on offense.
Here comes Nelson. Cook. Slapped down by Defoe, but he keeps it, and he finishes. Great play from Bennett Cook, who now has 25 points.
Big Benji is 9th, 9 for 11, shooting 75%. How efficient has he been tonight? Great play from Bennett.
Hamlet, again, looking to work his way and finds Varner. Kennedy in the corner. He's already hit a couple there. That one halfway down and back out again.
Wow, it was a good look, and Camaro Kennedy would want that one back because he's got that quick release.
Yemi late in the shot clock. On extra pass to Nelson for three. Big shot from Saeed Nelson for the triple. Sheffield up 12. Newcastle into a timeout.
It's a big shot. It's a beautiful one. The extra pass from the Sheffield Sharks. Lovely no-look there from Glasgow Junior, and Nelson steps into that one as pure as they come.
And just when I said they needed to get more shots near the rim, they knocked down a three. Incredibly high IQ team play there. You know, saw the double team coming in the post, was able to kick out the one more pass. Big shot from Saeed Nelson here with under 3 minutes to go.
Well, the Newcastle Eagles, with 3:21 to go, in danger of going 0-4 as a franchise. They haven't gone 0-4 in the league since 1991-92. Wow. The team was in Sunderland in those points. They've only twice gone 0-4 in BBL history. That was the first year in 87-88, and then again 91-92. It's a team more accustomed to be 4-0 than 0-4, but that is what they are staring down the barrel of here. And 3:21, you say it's easy to score 12 points in 3:21, but when you only have 50 in the previous 37, it's out of context with the rest of the game.
And we've just seen a sequence of events there. Let's just say Kennedy knocks down that 3-point shot. It's a 6-point game. He misses it. It bubbles in and out. Sharks get a very good quality looking 3-point shot down the other end of the floor. Now they're up by 12.
Well, they've thrown Newcastle out of rhythm on the inbound, but finally they get Hamlet and on to Cohen the ball. Good deflection from Nelson, and that's a hard landing for Bennett Cook as he went after the loose ball, and Defoe just collided with him. Cook will be winded. Defoe will get a foul for that, but he's back to his feet. I think he's going to have to come out of the game. It's the 4th on Defoe, by the way. Oof.
A little bit of a scary moment there. You never want to see actions like that.
It's been such a great game as well. MVP in my opinion, and you just hope he's okay.
Oh, he sits down. Delpesh has come in for him. Defoe was also substituted out after the 4th foul. Nelson. Glasgow. Offensive foul on Delpesh with the moving screen.
Little details like this down the stretch. Let's take another look at this one.
He's just got hold of him, actually. It's not the screen.
Tough call. Things like that the Sharks don't need. You've got to dig a little bit deeper, be a little bit more disciplined.
Here's Kennedy. That's off the mark. Bennett Cook, by the way, has equaled his career high, 25 points. It was also against Newcastle back in December 2019. Obviously likes playing the Eagles. Newcastle trying to lengthen the game a little bit here. Got to gamble for steals, down 12 with 2.5 to play. Nelson to Oganyemi. Oh, it just bounces out.
Wow. The Eagles got away with one there. There's still an opportunity here to open this game up.
Hamlet. Back to Varner, top of the key. Knocks it down.
Varner's jump shot looks so pure and natural at times. 12 points personal for him.
Sheffield taking some air out of the ball. Now they'll look to attack with the alley-oop to Delpesh. And I think he got caught between tipping it in and dunking it home. Cohen wide open for three, big shot. Rims out. Yemi with the rebound.
That was it. That needed to drop. Sheffield Sharks should be able to manage this game out now.
Well, they kept Cheshire to 49 last Sunday, 52 against here with a minute or so to go. Oh, Nelson just about blocked Yemi there. Was that Sheffield playing defense at both ends of the floor?
Well, they just did that. Yeah, you're right, nice body check there from Nelson. And you say, holding Cheshire to 49, Eagles to 52. This is a Sheffield Sharks team over the years that have been known for their defensive presence and ability to close teams out.
Into Nichols, and he knocks it down.
Looking play there out of bounds. The screen rolls off Nichols. Nichols opens up, gets himself an open jump shot.
Well, Cookie's back for Sheffield, so he might have a chance to break his career high. As Hamlet keeps Newcastle's interest in this game with 50 seconds to play. Sheffield say, let's run the clock here. The shot clock violation is not the worst result here for Sheffield. Obviously, they want to score first. Here's Nichols attacking to Cook, and he's blocked. Shelton with the rebound, but they took 23 seconds out of the clock there. Hamlet to Cohen, lays it in. Oh, and a sloppy turnover.
Wow. The plot thickens. Eagles are going to have an opportunity here.
Well, the scoreboard in the building is wrong. They've corrected it now. It is 64-57 as we have here. So 7 points. They need a quick score. A three makes it interesting. Kennedy to Cohen. Somebody shoot the ball. Well, they got the score, but they lost about 10, 11 seconds there that they couldn't really afford, Newcastle.
Well, Eagles are going to have to foul now. So it's going to be down to the free throw shooting of the Sharks. A quick foul here from Newcastle Eagles. And as you say, Dan, they were looking for a perfect shot. Sometimes you just got to get the ball up there. Time is against you. Took off a good 10, 11 seconds there. Nice putback finish from Shelton, though.
Yeah, got it down to 5. And Tiva Lions has scored a timeout. Presumably he's going to advance the ball here, because the one thing you don't want to do is turn the ball over in the backcourt and give them a score with no seconds really ticking off. It does have the ability. It doesn't affect the clock either way. Obviously, taking it in the backcourt gives you the ability to run the baseline and also more court to throw to, but I would imagine he goes to the front court here.
The Eagles are on 3 team fouls, so they're going to have to start fouling quickly just to get into the penalty.
It is the front court that Tiva Lions points to. Yeah, as you say, as long as Sheffield pass it to a teammate, they should win the game here with 13.5 seconds, and Eagles are going to have to lose 3 or 4 seconds just to get them to the free throw line. It's into Nichols, easy as you like, need a foul. Kennedy gets it. They've lost 2 seconds. Well, that's going to be Kennedy's 5th foul. He sits down.
No clue why Kennedy was in the game in that situation. You just want to put players on the court that can make the quick foul.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could even put the young lads who haven't come on just to commit a foul in that situation, because that's Johnson's 4th, and Kennedy's the only guy who's really made a 3-point shot. Hamlet's made a couple as well.
That's where the hesitation came from Kennedy. You could see he knew he had to foul, but he didn't want to. And there's 2 seconds that I think he's processed that. You know, 2 seconds you don't want to lose in a game where the clock is winding down.
Well, this will ice it. This will make it 3 shots in 10.8 seconds. Coach Studer will call a timeout, and he'll obviously advance the ball and draw up a play, but just to get 3 shots off, never mind the fact you've got to get the ball back twice, just to get 3 shots up and in 10.8 seconds is a big ask for the Newcastle Eagles here.
Well, of all the games you've seen over the last 20 plus years, Dan, if you're saying it's a big ask, I think I would agree with what you were saying in your consensus there. They would have to, well, first they make some quick, big 3-point shots, but also they need best part of a small miracle or something to be able to detract the Sheffield Sharks. However, that being said, there was a point in time where the Sheffield Sharks threw the ball, basically back to the Eagles in the last stages of the game, which gave them another lifeline. So it's not beyond the realm of probability, but time would suggest that something needs to happen.
I think it is beyond the realm of probability. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. It's probably the way I would put it. But
agreed.
I have seen 12 seconds, 6 points. Remember, Thames Valley gave away a 6-point lead in 12 seconds. They won the game in overtime. Carl Brown hit a 3 and then stole the ball and got fouled, shooting another 3, made 3 free throws to send it to overtime. But it needs to be a catch and shoot 3. Well, that'll do it. Sheffield with the steal. Ratino on the floor. Possession arrow Sheffield's way. They will dribble it out. And we said coming into this game, both these teams really needed a win. Sheffield are going to get that win. They're going to win 2 games in a row, and suddenly feeling like, well, first of all, Atiba's going to call a timeout with 4.6 seconds to go. I think Newcastle will say no foul, don't worry about it, but coaches can always see a way to defeat, and Atiba's called a timeout to make sure his team inbound the ball properly.
Atiba Lyons isn't used to being in a 1-4 scenario, Dan, so I think he's someone who just wants to make sure this game is done and dusted, and I think for coaches they want to make sure they continue to make sure their team improve it.
The other thing is, with the change in league format this time, you play teams 4 times now, so actually the head-to-head could be decided by basket difference. We'll see if Atiba draws up a play and goes for a score here. He's thinking ahead. This might be the first meeting with Newcastle, but we might need that head-to-head in the future. Another 2 points, another 3 points might be necessary further down the line, and I personally would fully endorse that. You know I bang the drum for points difference, thinking about it.
You're a numbers in the boxes type of guy, Dan, and I think every single digit or unit, or number for you it could come back to bite you. So maybe Atiba Lyons is on the same thinking as you.
Well, we will see.
It's up like they're trying to get something.
It does look like they're running a play. It's into Ratino, and they're just dribbling it out. So all I just said is rubbish. They won the game by 7, and that is the important thing. It's all about the win, and Atiba Lyons has 2 of them in a row now.
Very convincing second half from the Sheffield Sharks. It was a must-win for both teams. You feel like the pressure had been applied on both teams early, just because of the simple fact. What is it? Last time that these 2 teams were in this predicament, Newcastle early 1990s. So these are really uncharted territories for both of these clubs. And Sheffield Sharks were the team that were able to dig a little deeper today. I thought they were excellent on the defensive end in the second half, and offensively they found some superstars to show up tonight.
And Bennett Cook equaling his career high in the British Basketball League with 25 points. His previous 25 was also against the Newcastle Eagles, but a tremendous performance. And Mike Tuck talked about how efficient he was in those scoring.
Yeah, and he shouldered that responsibility as well. They went to him when everyone else on the team was struggling to score the basketball, and he delivered. I thought he was great on both ends of the floor as well. He rebounded the basketball, 7 rebounds for him as well, and he's long, he's 6'10", so he's contesting all of those shots.
Important win for the Sheffield Sharks. They've beaten the Newcastle Eagles 66 points to 59. Let's go back over to Nat.
Thanks, Dad. Drew Lasker alongside me. Drew, we said at the top of the show, we said at halftime, this Sharks team, it's all about defense. So break down how they were able to keep this Eagles offense in check throughout most of the game.
Well, they were able to neutralize the head of the snake, and that being Javion Hamlet, whilst taking care of the others. So they did a great job of packing the paint, and Newcastle didn't help themselves by taking some ill-advised shots there in the fourth quarter, but we're slowly starting to see the identity of the Sheffield Sharks.
When you look at a defense like this, they held the Phoenix to under 50. They held the Eagles to under 60. They are clearly one of the top defenses in the league right now. If they can get their offense rolling and into fifth gear, are they going to be contenders?
Well, I mean, I chose them to be a top 4 team. I don't necessarily think they do. Remember last season, the narrative that we painted is they got to be better offensively. They never did, and guess what? They finished runner-up in the league. I think they're starting to understand what they are. You know yourself. Let's focus on being gritty, tough. Let's keep the game in the 60s, and we like our chances.
The Eagles dropped to 0-4 now in the league. We'll talk about what that means for Mark Stütl in the early phase of his career as the BBL, as a BBL head coach for Newcastle. We'll get into the fallout for Newcastle in a minute, but first up, let's check in with tonight's MVP. Bennett Cook is courtside with Mike.
Bennett Cook, 2 wins in a row. Big win at home here at the Tank. Was this a must-win for you guys tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we struggled in the beginning of the season, but I think we're finding our identity. I think it comes from defense, so I think it's a big win for us.
And that was a huge talking point throughout this game, a very defensive game. A little bit of a slow start from you guys in the first half. What changed after halftime?
What changed after halftime? Coach gave a pretty good talk in the locker room. He said we got to step up on defense. Defense builds offense, and I think we capitalized in the second half on open shots, just passing the ball and keeping it simple.
And you equaled your career high tonight. The last time was also versus the Eagles. 25 points. You shot 75% from field goal percentage. Did you expect walking into the gym tonight you're going to have a big one?
No, it doesn't happen very often, if I'm being honest with you. It just seemed to follow my way. I got the benefit of the calls. I capitalized on free throws and felt good today, so I came out aggressive.
Big win for you guys. Bennett, congrats. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
There's his coach, Atiba Lyons, and for somebody so seasoned, Drew, such an old pro, he wouldn't have been too phased about their start to the season, but nevertheless, it's going to feel good right now for him. Back-to-back wins.
Yeah, he said it at the top as well that he didn't want to panic, but at the end of the day, you got those W's got to start coming in, and I'm pretty sure he's thrilled that all the work that he's starting to put in, the foundation of this team is coming to fruition on Friday night.
We're seeing Bennett Cook. It's interesting in that interview with Mike, he said the second half things started to roll, but actually he was instrumental in the first half, certainly. We keyed him at half time, and he really started to exert his influence on the game as the first half wore on.
Well, Bennett Cook, welcome to the party. There's been talk about his slow start to the season in this merry-go-round with the Sheffield Sharks bigs in particular, but 40 points in the paint, 25 of those coming from Bennett Cook, and he even talked about it in an interview. How do you get yourself going? Getting to the free throw line, where he was able to get there 9 times tonight.
At halftime, Mike and I were talking about, on the Shark side, certainly, Bennett was the one doing all the heavy lifting. Didn't really have a huge amount of support around him. We could compare that, of course, to the Eagles, and we figured if the supporting cast could step up. It was interesting how that happened and where that came from for Sheffield. Jordan Rettino is a player, of course, that we know is a very prolific downtown shooter. But as we were watching him, and he had some key plays in the game, you were pointing out to me there's much more to his game than that.
Yeah, I mean, this is his 3rd year with the Sharks, and I was expecting him to take another leap again. He's another player that's caught off slow, but in the second half, he got himself going, not just with his scoring, but his playmaking ability as well. As he gets in the paint in there with the soft teardrop, and he's going to be crucial if the Sharks are going to go somewhere this season.
Let's hear from his head coach, Atiba Lyons, as courtside with Mike.
Coach, 2 wins in a row, another slower defensive kind of matchup. Can we get your insights on the game?
Yeah, I thought, Newcastle did some good things, kind of disrupting some of our offenses early. Took a while for us to adjust on the offensive side of the ball, but defensively was pretty solid. We tried to keep Hamlet quiet. I think we did a good job showing him different looks and bodies, and You know, we just did an all-around good job just fighting and digging out tough possessions. And on the offensive side, took a while to figure it out, but that's credit to Newcastle. There's some things that affected us.
Yeah, and you talked about adjustments there. In the third quarter, you guys jumped out to an 8-point lead. What changed for you guys at that half?
I think our big guys got a good rhythm. Bennett, like you've said on the show already, he played really well tonight. He's definitely by far the most skilled big guy, I think, when he puts it together. And I think he just had one of those nights that it started to fall for him, and his teammates looked for him. So, you know, we've got skill, we got talent. We just got to make sure we're getting the most out of this unit.
A gritty 7-point win here, your second win in a row. How does this help build momentum moving forward?
Hopefully it cements some of our foundations. You know, when you have new guys come in the mix, it's hard to get everyone to understand exactly what I want. As you know, Mike, I'm a bit of a, stickler to detail. So I think we're starting to understand the details important.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Coach.
Thanks.
You know, when you have a tough start to the season, I don't know how many you had in your career, Drew, but difficult start, the pressure's on. You could even hear it today, the fans at various stages in the first half getting quite frustrated with the team. Is that pressure that is apparent and is on the shoulders of players early doors in the season, or actually is it something that most players can brush off and blank?
No, you definitely feel it, and I have experienced it in that my rookie year. We started off 1-11, and as the losses pile up, you begin to feel that pressure. But just like in a game, it's all about the runs. Over the course of the season, it's about riding that momentum train. So 1 wins turn into 2 wins, as Sheffield got tonight, and 2 can ultimately turn into 5 or 6. So you just got to get yourself going so you get confidence throughout the camp.
Let's bring this over to Newcastle then, and that 0-4 start in the league. They have won in the Cup. They're into the quarterfinals of that. So is it too early to get overly critical of what you see?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at the two teams, Sharks team have been together for 8 weeks. Not talking about bringing 6 players back from last season. The Newcastle Eagles since Monday, as they brought in Donovan Johnson. So these guys haven't been together very long. They're still trying to figure out their identity. They've done a lot better job on the defensive end tonight, but they got to get their offense going.
Yeah, looking at the positives, that's something that I'm sure their head coach will look at and draw from. Let's find out. Mark Studel is courtside now with Mike.
Coach, unable to pick up that first win tonight here in Sheffield. Can you give us your take on tonight's game?
Yeah, congratulations to Sheffield and Coach Lyons. You're always in for a battle when you come here. They make it a physical basketball game. I thought defensively we tried to, we did a good job of executing a lot of the areas that we wanted to, minus Bennett Koch having 25 points. And I think we need to, go back and look at the film there. But offensively, we've played some periods of basketball where we look exceptional, and then we've played some periods of basketball where the ball sticks, we don't get to our spacing, we don't get to our spots, and we look like we don't know what our roles are. And we got to see some consistency from game to game, and we got to see some consistency from the practice floor into game situations. We can't have a third quarter like we did. I think we lost to 13, 19, 10, and we have to make sure that those elements of our play, we become more consistent. Guys are getting touches, the ball seeing the second and third side, and that's a message they've had from me from day one. And we got to make sure we fix that quick.
Yeah, definitely. And you talk about being more consistent. What other things do you think needs to change with this team moving forward?
Yeah. I think it's execution. I think honestly it's execution, and that's probably a word that gets used a lot, but we show glimpses and then we choose not to execute based on some spacing and some discipline things, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. Like I say, we got guys who can impact the game effectively on the offensive end, but when we are not in sync and we're not connected and the ball isn't moving as much as it should, I think at times, we become a little bit one-dimensional in our play. So we have to make sure that offensively, good spacing, we get guys the looks where we need to, and start picking up the offensive side of the game.
Coach, commiserations on the loss. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Well, the pick of their offensive side of the game was definitely Jevion Hamlet. 23 points for him, had 5 assists as well. And he had a couple of runs that at one stage looked early on in the game and then in the third quarter that looked like he was going to drive the Eagles to victory, but just didn't have enough around, did he?
Yeah, he's a one-man wrecking crew. We know what he can do. He's averaging 22 points a game. The question is, the others. We talked about it pregame. There's only 2 players on this team averaging double figures. That won't get it done in the British Basketball League. If you look at the stats tonight, there's only 2 guys, including Hamlet, in double figures. And
yeah,
And the key, I was just going to say, in the third quarter, 7 out of those 10 points were from Hamlet. So the others got to get going.
Get going. And you mentioned the double digits. Leslie Varner was one of them, but shooting 33% from the floor. Hamlet much stronger there. So just to wrap this up, Coach Stuttel is early into his career at the Eagles. How are the fans going to be reacting to this start to the season? Is there going to be patience, or is the pressure going to start to rise?
Well, I think they started off patient, but they won't be patient forever. As the losses continue to build up, they'll start to get a little bit antsy. So they got to get things going. And he said in the media they needed one more piece, and I agree. They got to get a big in there to shore up the front line and get some easy buckets.
And as we saw with Atiba Lyons' interview, a week is a long time in the BBL, right? A week ago, he was under undue pressure. Now 2 wins out of 2, and things are looking up. So the Eagles can turn this around very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you can't ever get too high, get too low. Like you say, now the Sharks have won 2 games, and now they forgot about the 0-4 start. So the Newcastle Eagles could be in the same position a week time.
All right, just time before we get out of here to show you our play of the day. And Jordan Rotino, that man involved with this one again, Drew.
Yes, I mean, I talked about him getting going in the second half. He used this offense as a weapon to dish it off to Ogunyeme for the slam there. And that was a huge momentum play for the Sharks there in the third quarter.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, and that got the crowd going. I wonder if that is going to make our plays of the week next time out. Of course, Kieran Achara is going to be back to anoint the winner of that. Other fixtures in the BBL this weekend, the Surrey Scorchers taking on the London Lions. The Flyers take on the champs, the Riders, a doubleheader on Saturday. Sunday, the Cheshire Phoenix taking on the Caledonia Gladiators. That is a 5:30 tip. All season long, we have live basketball for you here on Sky Sports, and the next month is going to be jam-packed.
Walked up to Sharma!
Shot. Whelan drops it off to Walker with the jam.
It's a big name, some big guns coming up, Drew Lasker. We talked about at the very start of the season. We're only a month and change into the season. Are you still looking at this as a 2-horse race as far as the title is concerned between the Lions and the Riders? The Giants sneak in, maybe the Sharks can roll. What are you looking at the moment?
Well, I don't want to upset the Bristol Flyers fans. They're undefeated this season, so we can't forget about them. But yeah, you're correct. I think it's turned into a 4-man race at this time, including the Manchester Giants. So a lot of exciting basketball coming up.
Right, including next week. We are back in London taking another look at the Lions, who have absolutely blazed a trail and set the pace domestically anyway so far this season. We saw Cheshire last week in Manchester. They play with a real tenacity and a real pace as well. So looking forward to seeing those two clash in the capital. 7:30 on air, Sky Sports Arena, for a 7:45 tip. But that's all from us here in Sheffield. Brilliant stuff from Drew and the crew. Equally superb stuff from that Sheffield Sharks defense. Their season is getting up and running. We'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.